This news story was written by Matt Visor. Joe Biden pardons his son Hunter. The president had promised not to pardon Hunter Biden, who was convicted of gun-related charges and had pleaded guilty in a tax case. President Joe Biden has pardoned his son Hunter, a controversial decision that reverses his long-standing pledge to not use his presidential powers to protect his only surviving son, who was found guilty of gun-related charges in Delaware and pleaded guilty to tax evasion in California. Using his executive authority in the waning days of his presidency, Biden lifted the legal cloud that has hung over his son for several years. While the president had pledged several times not to pardon or commute Hunter Biden's sentences for federal crimes, many close to him had expected the pardon would come, given the president's loyalty to his family. The move also comes at a time when Biden will face few political ramifications, given that he is a lame duck, and voters have already rendered their verdict on his administration by sending Donald Trump back to office. Hunter Biden was convicted in June by a federal jury in Delaware for lying on a gun purchase form in 2018, when he checked a box saying he was not using illegal drugs, and then illegally owning that weapon as a drug user for 11 days. Separately, he pleaded guilty in September to 9 federal tax charges, a last-minute plea that came just before jury selection was scheduled to begin for that trial in California. Both cases were prosecuted by special counsel David Weiss, who was named to preserve the case's independence from a Justice Department overseen by Hunter Biden's father. In July, U.S. District Judge Aileen M. Cannon suggested the entire process for naming special counsels was invalid as she dismissed a separate indictment against Trump about mishandling classified documents. Hunter Biden's gun conviction carried a potential prison sentence, although some legal analysts said that was relatively unlikely given that he was a first-time offender who owned the gun for only 11 days and never used it. But the tax charges were more serious and, since the guilty verdict in the gun case made Hunter Biden a felon, the sentence could have been harsher. When he pleaded guilty in September, U.S. District Judge Mark Scarsi asked Hunter Biden in court if he understood a guilty plea would mean he could face up to 17 years in prison and fines of up to $1.3 million. Biden said he did, and as each of the charges was read, he repeated that he was pleading guilty. The gun trial put on public display some of the ugliest and most difficult moments in Hunter Biden's life, as his daughter Naomi, for example, testified to the way his drug use troubled their relationship. The trial showcased the family's pain following the 2015 death of Hunter's brother Beau, which sent Hunter into a deep spiral of drug addiction. The question of whether to pardon his son has been a difficult one for Biden both personally and politically, in part because one of Democrats' central accusations about Trump is that he seeks to manipulate the justice system for his own benefit. But Biden has felt protective of his son throughout a life marked by family tragedy. Hunter and his brother Beau were badly injured in a 1972 car crash that killed their mother and their baby sister. And Beau died of brain cancer in 2015. Biden said publicly several times that he would not pardon or commute Hunter's sentence. In the days after the Delaware gun trial, when the president was attending the Group of Seven summit in Italy, he reiterated that he trusted the deliberations of a jury that found his son guilty and would not issue a pardon. As Biden was walking away from the stage, he was also asked whether he would reduce its severity by commuting his son's sentence. No, Biden responded. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre reiterated that decision on several occasions. No, she told reporters on Air Force One, just after Hunter Biden's guilty plea in the California tax case. It is still very much a no. Our answer still stands, she repeated as recently as November 7th, which is no. It has long been a point of pride with the president that he had not interfered in the justice system. But Biden is also fiercely protective of his son, and many in the Biden circle say prosecutors would never have gone after Hunter so aggressively if his father were not the president. The two sides were near a plea agreement at one point, but it fell apart in August 2023 amid scrutiny by a judge and complaints from Republicans. The complex relationship between father and son has been one of the consistent themes of Biden's presidency. When the former vice president announced in May 2019 he would run against Trump, Hunter Biden was still in the depths of his addiction. During the campaign, Hunter was often seen as a liability and became a frequent target of Trump, who would taunt the Democratic nominee by demanding, "Where's Hunter?" But during Biden's presidency, his son, who has moved beyond his addiction, remarried and had a son, emerged as a source of comfort for the president. Hunter Biden appeared by his father's side during jubilant moments, like his trip to Ireland, and trying ones, when he explained why he was dropping his re-election bid in an Oval Office address. Still, Biden's political adversaries spent much of his presidency continuing to pursue Hunter and accuse him of financial wrongdoing. Two Republican-led House committees spent years investigating Hunter, whose business career had long benefited from his father's name. Hunter Biden himself has largely defended his actions but says he had poor judgment by exposing his father to political attacks in some instances, such as by serving on the board of Burisma, a Ukrainian energy company, at a time that his father was President Barack Obama's point man on Ukraine. The federal indictments came after a lengthy Justice Department investigation into Hunter Biden's business dealings while his father was vice president, a period that Republicans have cited as evidence of broad corruption in the Biden family. No evidence has surfaced publicly to suggest any wrongdoing by Joe Biden.
This news story was written by Holly Bailey, Mariana Alfaro, and Mark Berman. Lawmakers expressed doubt over Trump's plan to replace FBI's Christopher Wray. FBI Director